When Grandia was ported to the Sony PlayStation in 1999, it certainly got its fair share of attention. Myself and other fans enjoyed its stunning graphics, innovative gameplay, and memorable music. To me, the thing that made it stand out most was its optimistic feel. At the time, that contrasted greatly with its darker, more sinister counterparts. Grandia received a lot of buzz, and the cult following of fans it attracted wanted more. Eventually, Game Arts delivered. Grandia 2 was released in 2000, and it adopted a more mature feel while still retaining many of the original's best qualities. There was only one problem though, at least for most people. It came out on the Sega Dreamcast. But why was that an issue, you might be asking? Well, the Dreamcast wasn't known for its RPGs, and many fans of the first game passed it up back then for that very reason. Despite this, Grandia 2 was widely praised in gaming publications. Still, the fact that RPG fans generally preferred the PlayStation and PlayStation 2 meant the title went overlooked to some extent. Well, this was eventually rectified in 2002, when the game was ported to the PlayStation 2. This decision gave the game new life, and it was the way many of us first played it. In 2019, an updated version of the game was included in a Grandia 1 and 2 remaster package for Steam and Nintendo Switch, and I'll be using footage from that version. The world of Grandia 2 centers upon an epic battle between Granos, the god of light, and Valmar, the god of darkness, which took place thousands of years before the events of the game. The fight nearly destroyed the planet, but in the end Valmar shattered into pieces that were scattered throughout the world. Afterward, the Church of Granos formed to praise the god of light for his deed. In Grandia 2, the player takes the role of Ryudo, a mercenary called a Geohound. He travels the world with his falcon, Sky, to complete jobs for gold. As a result of his profession, he's cynical and lacks moral judgment, but always commits himself to the task at hand. As the story begins, he's hired by the Church of Granos to escort a prim and proper songstress of the church, Elena, to a tower to perform a ritual to keep Valmar sealed away forever. Their personalities mesh like water and oil, but they make their way there successfully. During the ritual, however, an unexpected magical force possesses Elena. Out of the darkness emerges Millennia, a mysterious woman hell-bent on destruction. You eventually discover that it's actually the alter ego of Elena, who's corrupted by a piece of Valmar. After the incident, Ryudo is paid to escort Elena to see the head of the Church of Granos. Everyone hopes to find a way to purge the darkness from her and better understand the battle of good and evil. And yeah, it's actually called that. I'm not kidding. Now, it's true that Grandia 2 adopts a much darker and more serious story than its predecessor, but there still is a lot of trademark humor thrown into the dialogue, and there's other comical references as well. For instance, the Pope's name is Zera Innocentius, and I won't spoil anything, but let's just say his name makes clear that he has zero innocence. Just like the first Grandia game, the characters really make the experience come alive. Besides the two main playable characters, you have Roan, a good-natured boy with a hidden secret, Tio, an automaton who was programmed to destroy, and Merrig, a beast man whose strength and experience guides the party during tough times. Like all games made by Game Arts, the characters have distinct traits and dialogue that really draw you to them, and the voice-acted storyline really helps in this regard. I know some fans have criticized the quality of the voice acting in this one, but I actually thought it was pretty good. It's definitely not as bad as Suikoden Tear Cries or anything horrendous like that. Just like in the original, Grandia 2 revolves around an innovative timing system, and there's still a combat gauge in the lower right portion of the screen. When the meter gets to the command label, or COM, you're able to enter your attack commands. When it gets to the action label, or ACT, the command executes. The gauge displays both allied characters and enemies, and it's really helpful in guiding your decisions. In Grandia 2, there are actually 3 different types of standard attacks: combo, counter, and critical. Combo is a basic attack that strikes a single enemy and will be your bread and butter. Counter is only available when enemies are executing an attack against you, but strikes back at them for a high amount of damage. Critical does less damage than combo, but pushes the enemy's turn back if you're able to time it to coincide with the commencement of their attack. As Grandia fans know, this is one of the most satisfying parts of the game by far. The only thing to remember is that enemies can push your turns back too, so keep that in mind. Besides your standard attacks, you can also use magic and moves, so there are actually 2 resources rather than 1 besides hit points. Magic consumes magic points, and moves consume special points. Both play a similar role in some cases. However, special points refill naturally over time as characters perform attacks, but magic points don't. Magic usage is a little different compared to the original Grandia because of the way mana eggs work. You still find them throughout the game, but in this one they can be equipped to characters to allow them to learn egg-specific magic over time. For example, the Chaos Egg is focused on fire, wind, and lightning magic, and the Fairy Egg is focused on healing magic. There is some overlap of spells between eggs too, but each features a different array of them. Mana eggs are also interchangeable now, but if you remove one from a character, that character can no longer use the magic that Mana Egg bestows. It definitely forces you into some tough choices about who should assume which roles in battle. The magic in this game is ridiculously powerful, honestly too powerful in my mind. Once you start getting the strongest spells, even the hardest enemies mostly become a cakewalk. Also, some of the spellcasting animation sequences take way too long. And by way too long, I mean some take longer than 25 seconds to execute. And this applies to enemy spells too. Don't get me wrong, they're quite visually appealing and fun to watch a few times, but once you start using them often, you'll get sick of them for sure. And sometimes this means the game becomes monotonous and you just have to sit idly until they finish. Unfortunately, there's also no way to skip these animations either, even in the remastered version. Grandia 2 also has a skill system where you can spend magic coins and special coins to upgrade skills unlocked by skill books. These books must be upgraded and equipped to be used, but each allows a character to advance in power in various ways. For instance, you can gain statistical upgrades, improve your elemental resistances, and even increase your magic power. You're truly given a lot of freedom to choose what to focus on, and it functions a lot like the skills systems in the Star Ocean games. A lot of Grandia 2's fans point to the soundtrack as one of the biggest reasons they love the game, and after playing it again after so many years, I can totally see why. It combines some upbeat, funkier tracks with emotional ones for a wide variety of catchy tunes. It also remixes some of the songs from the original, including the main theme, which is used in several different ways. Legendary composer Noriyuki Iwadare really outdid himself on this one, and it probably stands as one of his best soundtracks among a huge library of work. Overall, Grandia 2 is a fantastic RPG that really builds upon what the original did well. The Mana Egg and skill system were both drastically improved over their counterparts in the first title, and I honestly think this one's story is better as well. There's certainly lots of twists and turns and more emphasis on darkness, but not so much that it detracts from the spirit of the first game. Battles keep players on their toes and are fun and smooth, but the cast time animations do become excruciating at times. I really wish there was an option to skip them at the very least. The game is pretty darn easy, especially after you gain powerful magical spells, but it's still fun to play through. It can also provide you a solid 30 hours of gameplay, which is definitely respectable for a game of its era. If you're wondering which version to pick up, I highly recommend the Grandia 1 and 2 remaster on Steam. The widescreen view, graphical enhancements, UI improvements, and other features make this one the best. In my mind, Grandia 2 was the best RPG on the Dreamcast, and a really great experience that's worth playing for any fan of the genre. So what did you think about Grandia 2? Was it better or worse than the original Grandia? Let me know in the comments below. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell for more retro gaming content, and please join my Discord community linked in the description. If you want early access to the videos I produce and other perks, please consider supporting the channel by becoming a Patreon patron or via the YouTube Join feature.